In today's video, we're going to look at the testing you need to get done to know if you have Hashimoto's and how that's different than just routine thyroid testing. Hi, I'm Dr. Jesse Morris. I specialize in natural solutions for fatigue, gut health, and autoimmunity. In my last video, we looked at the difference between hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid function, and Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition that attacks the thyroid gland. So Hashimoto's is responsible for about 90% of the hypothyroidism here in the US. But what's odd is despite the fact that Hashimoto's is the leading cause of hypothyroidism, it's not routinely tested for. I've actually been surprised at how many of my patients who've told me that they have hypothyroidism, and I've asked, do you know if you have Hashimoto's? They said, I don't know, nobody's ever tested me for it. But that actually makes sense in the context of Western medicine because the standard of care around hypothyroidism is to manage thyroid hormone levels with medication and not really to address the underlying autoimmune condition. Right? So if you're not going to treat an autoimmune condition, why test for it? But I think that model of just managing hormone levels with medication and not doing anything for the underlying autoimmune condition, it's not a great approach because Hashimoto's tends to get worse over time if nothing's done about it. And having Hashimoto's can cause other problems in the body beyond just low thyroid hormones. So what testing do you need to get done to know if you have Hashimoto's, and how is that different than just routine thyroid tests? So in a routine thyroid test, what they're looking for is the levels of thyroid hormones in your blood, and they use two markers, TSH and free T4. As a side note, just measuring those two markers gives a pretty incomplete picture of the thyroid gland or thyroid function. And in my next video, I'm going to be covering all the tests that I think need to be done in a complete thyroid panel. So back to Hashimoto's. So if you want to test for Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition, you need to test antibodies. And there are two markers that we look at. The first one is antibodies against TPO or thyroid peroxidase, which is an enzyme that helps make thyroid hormones. The second marker, the second test, is for antibodies against thyroglobulin or TGB, which is a protein that makes up part of thyroid hormones. So if you have hypothyroidism, I think it's really important to also test for Hashimoto's because if you have it, there's a lot you can do through diet and lifestyle to manage the autoimmune condition, right? To keep the autoimmunity dampened down so it doesn't progressively get worse over time. And I'm going to be covering a bunch of those strategies in future videos, but for today, I hope this gives you some clarity on thyroid testing. Like I said, in my next video, I'm going to be covering the tests that I think need to be done to give a more complete picture of the thyroid function or thyroid gland. So stay tuned for that video, or if you know you want some one-on-one help testing for Hashimoto's, managing Hashimoto's, you can request an appointment through drjessemorris.com. I'm happy to help. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch this, and I look forward to seeing you soon.